How's everybody? Everybody good? I don't think there's supposed to be two ye in there now, lads. Come on. Come on. Come on, one at a time. One at a time. Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil and today this is going to be a calf video. Haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet, but today's video is going to be the daily routine with the calves, what we do. I suppose you're probably wondering, why is this pen cornered off? And why is there two calves in it? Decided because you'd always have a lot of calves that come up and they'd stand here waiting to be fed. So I decided to put the gates across there, which means it's kind of like a funnel. The calves all come to one point, and if they're standing waiting to feed, they're standing waiting at the feeder. And since we've done that, calves are feeding a lot better. We're getting on really well. I've checked the feeder now. And then, why is there two calves here? This calf is called Bam Bam. He was a freebie that was thrown in on a load, and as you can see, he's small. He's a little bit strange, maybe is the best way to put it. We reckon he's probably premature, or there's something not just right about him. His hind quarter or his back end isn't just a bit right. The other lad that was there last night when we were in, he was lying out in the middle of the shed, literally just the other side of that pillar, and he was out for the count. Couldn't understand it, kind of got him with it, and he was holding his head and he's hiding his head, and we reckon now what we think happened was he either got one hell of a kick off another calf, or he headbutted one of the pillars head on, and he concussed himself. And we put him in there and we got him to drink a bit, and you can see now he's back to himself there. He's fine. First jobs first is to check the feeder and see how many calves have to be fed today. So what I'm looking for when I'm doing picking out calves I need to look at for the morning, there is calves there, haven't fed so far today, but I'm not after them. I'm after any calf that hasn't fed so far today and only drank once or just over once yesterday. So at the minute the calves are pretty much all on 7 litres because they've all been on the feeder long enough. And I'm picking out calves that haven't drank feck all yesterday I didn't drink today, so there is one, the first one, 2805. So I write it on my board so I can bring the board with me. And it's just a check up, see there's okay. Some of them are pets and we have near enough the same ones every day. It rarely ever changes. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. Sometimes your pets start feeding themselves, like there is one there, our limousine. So show you 396, he was a pet, but he started to feed himself. So that's how many calves we have to feed now, or find. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 calves out of the sum total of 136 calves. Another little interesting bit, I don't know, can you see it there? But currently, the daily amount is 952 litres. So the 136 calves have 952 litres to drink between them. We'll go find these lads and put them in. Generally speaking, the pets are never too far away. First thing we do, we check the feeder, make sure no one's in that we want, and then we check around and about. So there'll probably be calves around here that we need. There's one there, 3893. So, where'd he go? There he is. So that's the last one into the feeder, 2862, and there's nothing wrong with him. He was fast asleep down the shed. Now that they're on 7 litres of the Elvor, which is quite, we've never really fed calves 7 litres before, but that's what they recommend. We've seen that the calves have dropped off their meal intake. They were, at the start they were eating about a bag a day. They dropped off that and they're just back on a bag a day now, and it's been about 2 weeks getting back to that point. Little boy. He was, and we did have a jacket on him, but he kind of wasn't moving about too well with the jacket, so we took it off him. And he's a little bit of a scour on him the last few days. It seems to have dried up. He was right bad now yesterday morning. We gave him, he's not getting milk at the minute. He's getting this Elvor Digest. Liffey Mill sent it down with the pallet. So we're mixing up all these into the bowl. Here you go, boss. So while Bam Bam is enjoying his electrolyte, the next round of jobs that has to be done is open up the door to let in some fresh air, but get a bucket of lime, and we're mixing in this stuff here, Stalazin F. To put in milk powder, we have to bed up the bottom of the shed, because we bed up the shed one day, one end of the shed, next day the other end of the shed. It keeps the cows moving around the shed. So that is this shed finished with for the morning. So you seen we put down the lime and the powder, the Stalazin, the disinfectant powder. The reason we do that is one of the biggest design flaws with this shed is the calf feeders are up there. There's a fall on the floor. It falls all the way down and then goes out, and it means that all the piss, all the liquid flows down through all the bedding. But there's generally a smell, and that smell is bacteria, bad bacteria. And the reason we put down the powder, the lime, the disinfectant, in our mind, is to try and slow down the bacteria growing and try and keep the air clean, keep the calves healthy. That's why we do that. We have plans, and I don't know why we never thought of it before, but the hay shed, this part, there's no floor in that. That's just gravel. And our plan is for next year is to dig a tank into that and then run channels, maybe dig out where the feeders are, put down pig slats, and then run channels across the shed in a couple of spots and gather all the piss into a tank that we can put down in there, hopefully, if we can dig down deep enough. And that will solve that problem, and it makes this shed the perfect calf shed. Calves are doing fierce well. We're getting on fierce well. Touch wood all around me. So we have a great selection of calves in here. I'll try and find, we have speckled parks. There's one speckled park having a bit of mineral seaweed lick. So we have two speckled parks as well. There's one of them. We have a limousine in here. There's the limousine in there. He's a great lump of a calf. Our mortality rate has been low so far. We've only lost two. One, just both of them really popped their clogs. That was it. No real reason, no nothing. But just We get on well, touch wood, we can keep it that way. Calves can be tricky, they can be very tricky, but we're fierce happy with how they're doing, and we reckon the milk replacer is doing the job. They're just that bit bigger, and the backs, some of the calves, serious backs on them, serious backs on them. So this is our other shed. Here we are. This is them. So these are the last calves that came in. These are in the training pen. What I'm going to do now is just go quick fire what has to be done and just set up a time lapse, because it is pretty much the same with the other shed. So first job, put in my powder, check the calves numbers, do the same as I did the other one, write down any calves I need to look at, put in, do all the calves. We're going to let these calves out of the training pen into the rest of the herd. We have to take the nets off the bales. I have to put down some disinfectant, do a bit of bedding. The gate you can see in the middle there, that big gate, I have to get that swung around and tied up. I'm going to move the training pen to that end of the shed, because with more calves coming in tonight, this shed isn't full yet, and the way it's set up at the minute, the cows kind of have to come around to the feeder. I don't want that. Last year we had it cornered off there and the calves go up there, but same as the other shed, calves not feeding, size is right, we make a funnel. When you can funnel the calves into the stations, it may seem to get on a lot easier with feeding. If you're looking for a podcast to listen to, check out Pub Yields podcast. There'll be a link in the description down below. I did a podcast with them there 2 weeks ago, and if you're interested, check it out. It was a great laugh. You find out what happens when two Welshmen and an Irishman sit down for virtual drinks. It was a great crack with them, but you can check that out if you want. There'll be a link in the description down below. So that is this shed finished till tonight. I had quite a few calves to feed, so I did only put in a few and then I stopped the time lapse at about 10. It's just, we're still taking in calves in this shed, and when you're taking in calves, it just takes 2 weeks, a week to get them all on it, but it's not too bad. So, well, at the minute, we've more speckled parks. There's one. We have Herefords in here, a lot of Jerseys, we have Anguses. Yeah, we have a good selection of calves this year, a lot of Friesians compared to other years, but what can you do? The price of calves makes it very hard to buy better calves because they're just so expensive. But anyways, look at, that's the calves, that's the bedded, that's them finished up. On this shed, as you can see, what the problems we had last year, or a lot of people were telling us was a problem, because this shed last year was, we had a lot more trouble with than the other shed, was we had heifers in that shed for finishing, and people were saying it was the shared airspace was what was causing us trouble. So we've nothing there this year, and the plan is these calves, probably won't happen today, but after a while we'll be giving them all up there for 35 and the loading shovel is. They won't be getting that side, but they'll get the run up there. They'll have mountains of space. We still have another 50 calves to go into this shed. It's at 114, so we're going to bring it to 164. I did say earlier, both sheds are flawed. The other shed has the problem where all the piss and the runoff runs through all the bedding and then goes out. This shed is the opposite. This shed, there's nowhere for it to go. It all just stays in the ground, and it generally gathers in that bottom corner. That's why I put a lot of lime and stuff down there, because that's where it gathers down there. Also, you can see the feeding barrier, or the feeding passage, it has a fall going that way, and it means all the dribble and piss from the feeders flows that way. It kind of leaves that messy looking, but it's better than it flowing in. What can we do to fix it? Not a lot. We're thinking maybe next year we might put down wood chip first and then put the straw on, and then that way the wood chip will keep the straw up off the ground and it mightn't come up as much. It's just one of them things. But one of the things we can do with this shed, because we have so much space with up there, we can shut the calves up there and clean out the lower half, and that is something we might do once or twice, just to be able to get rid of it, to try and keep it clean. But keeping the line down seems to be working so far, and this shed has given us no trouble so far. It's time for us to leave, go on and do more jobs for the day, and come back here about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight to finish up with Liv, and I'll show you what we do later on. It's much the same, it's just we don't do as much. We do all we can in the morning, and in the evening we just feed them, but I'll show you that process anyways and how we look for them, and a few bants with Liv. But anyways, the next time you see us, it'll be dark. And we are back, and it is now dark. It is night. It must be near 9 o'clock. 20 to 9. Lovely stuff. Anyways, as you see there now, we're just after unloading calves. There they are there, having a good old gallop about. And the gate is swinging again. Yay! We're going to cut there's little bowl drinkers on that aren't being used. We're going to cut them off it so that we can get the gate to stay shut. So anyways, what's to be done now is the only job we do in the evenings. We have to do what we did in the morning. I will go through them in the evening. So how we determine it is, if they haven't fed at all today, we go look at them to put them in, and then we also put in any calf that has only drank once today, that didn't drink a whole lot yesterday. So maybe I drank once yesterday or drank twice yesterday, we'll put them in. It's always it's getting the fine line between trying to get them to feed themselves, but at the same time not starving them. 12 calves. Is that them all gone through? Yeah. Right, so we'll time lapse at 12 calves in, fill up the feeder with milk. If they need meal, we'll get meal, and that's all we'll be doing in this shed. We'll move on to the next shed then. Also, as you were seeing earlier, we're just after finishing up with our adapto. So this powder is the last of the adapto we got. That was just a transition milk for calves, and we're moving on to Elvo. One thing we also have to do is we have to recalibrate the feeder now, when we'll do it in the morning, and this powder makes its way to the auger as the, I don't know what you say, the rate at which it flows out changes between the brands. The one thing I'm not well, I don't really like about the milk compressor, it's very dusty, isn't it, Liv?
Yeah. Very
dusty. What made the fish blush? The seaweed. 360 is it? Look at this, the calf whisperer, huh? This is one of the other things we always try and do, is put in the calves without having to get into the pen. It seems to make them feel a bit easier, does it?
No, just feed them every time.
Yeah, anyways, that's one of the pets 360. I have 364 here. Come on you, come on, in, come on. Look at this, pet. They're the two pets, 364 and 360. Every day, twice a day, they have to be put in. And as you've seen there, they literally come to the feeder when we're here and then just dawdle on in. Pets. So, last calf to find, 590. Haven't found them so far. This is the problem, trying to find one calf in a shed of 130, I think, with them new ones after arrival. It's kind of hard to find one calf. Come on. Right, we'll finish this. This is another thing, it's great when you have someone else with you doing the calves. As you may have seen this morning, some of the time lapse, I was in and out, in and out, in and out, and that's to check to see who's feeding and who's not, because you have no way of knowing inside the pen. You have to get out. One of the downsides to the old feeders, the new feeders have a system, a little monitor, you can see the counting down. But it's easier when someone's with you. Come on, you go over there.
They've all finished apart from number 3.
Which one?
They're all finished apart from.
Okay. Come on, Sucky. Big calf back out. Come on, 590. Come on. In we go. And that is this shed finished. Come on, you get out before someone knocks you down. Come on. That's one of the downsides to the small calves. It only really happens when we're here that big calves are pushing on small calves, but it still happens. But anyways. It's really what?
Tactile.
Tactile. What's that, like dust? Nice to touch. I'm pretty sure that's not what tactile means.
It is.
Nice to touch.
Tactile.
Is nice to touch.
That's what I think.
So, we are back up in the top shed, the hay shed. You can see calves playing down the back. So you see who we have to feed. Bam Bam is getting up for his milk. Liv has him woken up. Is that right, Bam Bam? Isn't that right? Aren't you some pet, aren't you? Look at this calf here now. Look at the back of that guy. He's nearly that fat he can't get in. And here's another lad, not too bad. But this is one of the things you see. There's quite a lot of calves like this. Most of them are lying down, enjoying life. But what do we call them, Liv?
Fatties.
The fatties. These are the fatty calves, doing fantastically well on the milk replacer. We've never really had calves like that before. Not as many of them fatties as we call them. There's another lad coming up there now. That's it, 4 calves. So out of 136 calves in the shed, we have 4 calves to put in now. Fantastic. So some of the calves decided it'd be a good idea to shit in the drinker. Now I have to empty out the whole bowl. Which one of you is a smart sucky? Well, Patty, out. There's plenty of them. Alright, you're finished, boss. Come on. Let's go. Come on, you. Come on. He was down lying at the bottom of the shed. No loss in him. So, that is the one that broke the camel's back. That is us finished. Last calf in. Everyone is looking good and healthy down there. And yeah, there's not much else to say about the calves. They're doing well. Touch wood, touch all the wood round you live. It's 20 past 9, so that took what, 40 minutes. It's not too bad. Anyways, look at, we're gonna leave it at that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, twin, out. That's the twin.
That's twin one.
That's twin one. We actually have quite a few sets of twins on the farm this year between the blues and 2833 and 2844, and they're devils. They're always in the feeder either together or with a different calf. They're a disaster. That is it from us. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. I cooked it now, yeah?
Bam Bam's gonna say it.
Bam Bam's gonna say it.